Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm definitely not Riadu Kentor, and you're watching me pug my way to 3k rating on a Blood DK in Dragonflight Season 4. I don't have any catching up for you, we're just gonna go jump into some M+ keys, starting with a Brackenhide 3, I think? And here we go with a +3 Brackenhide Hollow. You may have noticed I have a new transmog. That's about the only change since the last episode. We're gonna see here now if we can do a nice big chunky pull to get the dungeon started. Gonna get a blood bowl on these guys, tombstone for the bit of extra health, and then we're gonna go grippy hands, gonna pull this, gonna pull the mystic. There's gonna be another big guy coming in, the war scourge. I gotta keep an eye on him. I'll put a focus on the existing War Scourge. I'll drop another D&D here because I'm kind of moved out of the previous one. Need big death strikes here to make sure I survive this. We're gonna use Empiric Embrace as well. We have a big circle coming out from the chamois. Big DPS coming out from the group as well. We're kind of struggling. I kind of get that feeling. Played a bit of Warrior. I gotta admit, it's kind of hard to keep up with everyone else's DPS. Warrior kind of standing in that Rage Storm. He doesn't really need to be. He can reach the mob without getting hit by that. Okay, we've done what we can here. I'm gonna blood boil these guys and then death grip him into this group like so. D&D coming in. Hopefully nobody dies while I have nothing up. Trying to get some death strike, runic power. Let's go. We're gonna kick that. I'm gonna drop another D&D because my other one was running out. So far so good. Tombstone's up, back up again. We're gonna get a nice big shield from that. Gonna use Empiric Embrace. Keep myself nice and healthy. DS Cackle was interrupted by the Paladin. Very nice. And that is it. Did somebody grab the first one? I don't know if somebody grabbed the first one. I'm hoping they did. I zoomed in on my minimap somehow. We're gonna give people Path of Frost. We're just gonna run around this group. Actually, it's pretty efficient count. So I think I'm gonna pull it like so. Drop D&D here and just hope nobody really messes this up by hitting them before I can. There we go. Need a death strike. Keep myself nice and healthy. And we have Dancing Rune Weapon. So we should be pretty safe now with the 40% increased parry chance. Warrior having a bit of struggle again with the Rage Storm. There's no need to get hit by that. You can literally just stand right there and keep hitting them. We're gonna kick the Hideous Cackle and I think we're pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna kill this just so just so we can grab this cage. I think I have what I need. I have grippy hands, so I'm gonna go for a big old double pull here. Probably not my safest bet, but we're gonna risk it for the biscuit. We have Empiric Embrace, grippy hands coming through. Need that death strike, get nice and healthy. Dropping another D&D just to have something underneath me, because the other one was kind of running out, and I kind of moved out of it to position in front of these guys so I can parry all of them. I don't think you can parry from your back. Okay, 2 spins coming through, so people need to be extra careful about their positioning. If I just stand still, it makes these Rage Storm guys not move. If they don't move, it's a lot easier to avoid getting hit by that. There is no need as a tank for you to move after you move out of the initial spin. Their range is lower than your basic melee auto attack range, no matter which class you are, so you're just safe from them. Okay, I'm gonna drop a D&D here, which looks weird, but we're going to death grip all of these guys. Why? Because I really don't want to have to deal with these 2 guys. They're not scary or anything, they're just take a while to kill, so I don't want to have to deal with them. We're gonna wait for them to patrol away, and then we'll do that. Maybe that was a waste. They're kind of easy percent. I don't know. They're patrolling away already, so we can just very quickly grab this cage and move on. Straight to the boss. Very nice. Don't really need that Windrush Totem considering the fact that we can mount up. All right, we do have a Bloodlust available. I'm gonna put focus on Trick Totem so that I can make sure to hit him with my interrupt no matter what. And we have Dancing Rune Weapon available. I'm gonna hit this again, get that Tombstone up. Gash Frenzy, a lot easier to heal now. I'm gonna look at Gash Tooth. I'm gonna interrupt that heal just because it was the first cast I could interrupt. Otherwise, in higher keys, I think it's better off. You're better off just interrupting the Earth Bolts. If you have to interrupt something, it's better to interrupt the Earth Bolts. Why? Because the heal does not scale with dungeon level, from what I know. Unless they've changed it for Season 4, the heal does not scale with dungeon level. So here I go interrupting the heal again after telling you it's not important, but that was just the first cast that came up after I registered that I have my cooldown for the interrupt available again. I'm still focusing Gash Tooth because he is, in my opinion, the most dangerous one. I'm gonna look at the totem here. I immuned the blind by using anti-magic shell because when I saw the totem coming down, I knew that I had to, hold on, I need to use some kind of defensive here because this actually hurts even as a tank. There it is, Savage Charge. I built up enough blood shield to not really feel it though. We have another Tombstone available, we're gonna use it. But yeah, when I saw the totem come down, I knew that I had to use anti-magic shell so I don't get blinded, so that the healer doesn't have to waste a global on that. We're gonna go right side. I don't know if they made enough changes to make left side viable. I haven't really looked at the changes. I know that the changes are minor. Need a Death Strike here, make sure I'm nice and healthy. I'm not going to overdo the pulls. I have a very strong tendency to overdo the pulls like crazy when I get into this part of the dungeon. There's no need to do that. The timers are generous enough. You don't need to push it, especially on Tyrannical Week where the mobs aren't as buffed up and beefy. You don't need to cleave down as many of them at the same time. Having done some M+ on other characters lately, I feel like it's just, I've learned from other tanks basically that I don't need to pull half the dungeon all the time, and that's kind of what made the Azure Vault run I did in the previous episode that much more complicated than it needed to be, was the fact that I just felt this need to compensate, well, not compensate, maybe that's the wrong word to use, but like I felt this need to pull half the dungeon when it was completely unnecessary. You get these infected lashers off of my friends here, but they were doing too much damage, I just couldn't. Paladin seems to be dropping cleanses for the group. That's good. I'm going to use Vampiric Embrace here, make sure I'm a little bit beefier than usual. I'm going to use Grippy Hands, and we're going to grip these guys in. Healer's doing a great job of keeping me up for my stupid grouping up thing. And we have Dancing Rune Weapon. We're now a lot beefier than we look because we have 40% extra parry chance. Ooh, this is no bueno. We're going to drop D&D on top of the Withering Totem. We're going to kick that Burst of Decay that'll reduce the amount of diseases going out. Okay, we need to move out of that circle. Blood Boil should get me aggro on this, and then the Death and Decay on top of their stupid heads. Okay, that feels like a bit of a waste, the big, whatchamacallit, Spirit Link Totem, but Shaman felt he needed it, so he used it. That's fine. We're going to go ahead, do a semi-big pull here, just for some easy percent. We got the Rot Slinger over here, and we got some stuff over here, D&D. Death Strike to full health with Vampiric Embrace up. Vampiric Embrace makes your Death Strikes ridiculous. I'm also being healed on top of that by my Shaman friend. Burst of Decay needs to get interrupted. I'm going to Blinding Sleet here because I saw another cast that I couldn't reach. I'm going to grip that to interrupt that cast. And one change they did make was from Season 2, I should say. The Wilted Oak, you can't interrupt their fetid breath thing anymore, so you got to watch out for that. You got to stand behind them when they do that. They do also kind of change direction when they start casting it sometimes, depending on who they cast it at, so that's something to be mindful of going into Season 4. If you're used to the Season 2 one where you can interrupt it, now you can't, so like I said, be careful. We have double Wilted Oak here. I'm going to pull them. I'm going to drop Dancing Rude Weapon while I run around, drop a D&D here, and we're going to go over here and we're going to pull both of these Shapers right like that. There we go. Actually, use Grippy Hands. Screw it. Right in front of the boss. Okay, now there is also an indicator here. People did get hit by that. You can see this necrotic breath. They got hit by it because I kind of forced them to move around a bit too much. Maybe they just weren't expecting me to keep going up to this point. It would have helped if the patrol was all the way up here. Like if the two Wilted Oaks were all the way up here, then I wouldn't have to drag them as much. I think I even saw a paladin drop his Final Reckoning. Can we actually kill that? No, we can't kill that. We're just going to wait for it to burst, and then I'll hit these guys just to have aggro on them, and we'll go into the boss. These guys don't really do anything. They kind of blow up in a small circle. Okay, now I have one, whatchamacallits, Death's Advance. So when I get the whip, I'm going to use that Death's Advance so I don't get whipped back. That way people can stay in their consecration, in my D&D, all that good stuff, and we don't have to move, waste potential DPS, anything like that. I have Blinding Sleet available, so when these guys start casting, I'm going to use my Blinding Sleet to interrupt them, like so. They're getting absolutely destroyed. Here, I think if I use Anti-Magic Shell, I can kind of ignore that, hoping these guys go away. Okay. Did I get eaten? Okay, just me. It was just me that got eaten. Nobody else is inside, I think. Yeah, nobody else is, which is very good. We're going to drop D&D on top of these guys. I don't have... I used my, whatchamacallits, Death's Advance a bit too slowly there, so I got knocked back instead of preventing it. I'm a bit scared here that people will get the whip hit on them because they're standing in front of the boss. They're trying to stand in front of the boss so that they can actually not stand in the crap. I don't have a way to prevent this knockback again, but that's okay. No big deal. I need to move the boss a little bit more. I know I just walked out of that thing, but I need to give the melee DPS a space for them to actually DPS. Now I'm going to use Anti-Magic Shell again once I get... People need to move out of that. Did somebody else get eaten? It looks like somebody else got eaten, but the boss is basically almost dead. Okay, cool. Anyway, you're not supposed to really get eaten twice. You're supposed to let somebody else go in for you the second time, and just the healer will blast them with HPS. But I felt confident I could survive it because I had multiple defensives available. Stink Breath finally has a thingy thing, and it doesn't track anymore. I think it used to track, like you could run it into other people, but now it doesn't track anymore. So when you see it, you can just get away from him. So you're supposed to stay close to him so you can move out of the cone more easily, like that, see? Like the warrior just did. Also, these health bars from the slimes down there are really, really annoying. I just dropped D&D for no reason. This way, please. Don't pull the stealth mobs. Thank you. I'm hoping they didn't pull the stealth mobs. There's stealth mobs very close to the exit of the bridge, or this side of the bridge. I am tempted to pull these guys for the percent. I don't think I need the percent. These guys just finished patrolling, so I think we can go all the way around here. There we go. Yeah, we pulled, it looks like, so we're going to turn on health bars again and use hope for the best here. A little bit iffy about this. Rotten meat's going out on the warrior. Warrior might get killed by the pets here. We're going to drop a D&D that will slow them a lot. Warrior's just kind of standing there and taking it, though. Very nice, very beefy warrior. He's so beefy you think he's a Tauren, but he's an orc. At least it looks like an orc. Maybe it's not an orc. Maybe he's got like a toy that turns him into an orc. I don't know. With how beefy he is, you might think he does. Okay, that joke just didn't work out, so I hope you at least give me a pity laugh as I explained that the joke didn't work out. Okay, when the gut shot comes out, I need to use the knockback prevention, which is right here. Meat toss coming out, but there's no hyenas. Ensnaring trap going down, but it's not on me. I'm going to move the boss a little bit. This is not ideal. The trap positioning is a bit crazy. If it comes from cave, okay, the hyenas aren't coming from the cave, so we are good. I'm trying to get some aggro on the hyenas. Now when meat toss goes out, we might have some issues here. I'm gonna drop a D&D right now just because that will slow the hyenas quite a lot. We're gonna slow this hyena as well, and then we can get double trap like that. See, we're gonna kick this, and there should be a gut shot coming out. We're gonna use Death's Advance to prevent the knockback. I don't want to have to deal with that. I also have to consider the gut shot a tank buster. It does a shit ton of damage, so you better have like some extra beefiness going right then and there. Okay, these guys are slowed. There's a trap right here. I don't have a way to prevent this knockback, so I'm just going to eat it to the face. We have that interrupt available. Very good. We're going to slow this hyena, and that's the boss dead. Very nice. This is a lot smoother than the whatchamacallit Azure Vault, because I've done this a bazillion times in season 2. We're going to grip this guy once we get to the bottom like so. We're going to taunt this side, and that should group the other side with us as well. Okay, gonna blinding slate these swirlies because they're kind of dangerous. They do a lot of damage. They will one-shot you on fortified, so be very careful. I'm not gonna use my dancing rune weapon here because there's just no threat to me whatsoever, and I don't need the extra damage because these mobs are just gonna fall over. We go left. Please go left with me. If you go left, you can skip everything. If you go right, you have to pull these two filth callers, and we don't want to pull those filth callers. They're extra percent that we don't need if I've done my route correctly. I hope I did. I think I did. Now, this Rot Hexer has to patrol just a little bit more so I don't pull this group. And here we go. We're going to pull the filth caller, and we're going to pull that guy. We're going to drop a D&D. These little mobs I didn't bother hitting because they don't really matter. We're going to grip this guy again. Why? Because he was casting an uninterruptible cast. Need the paladin to dispel this guy because the paladin's the only one that can remove diseases. Very nice. The paladin did do that. Love to see it. A paladin that uses utility. It's like a unicorn. It's so rare. Okay, 99%. We're going to pull this group so that nothing happens. If people like come over here and use some kind of weird AoE or whatever, I just don't want them to pull this group. And they're the smallest group that I can pull at the moment. Now we need the Demon Hunter to chill out a little bit, get away from us. There we go. Instantly dispelled by the Paladin. Beautiful. Love to see it. What a run. We are absolutely crushing this. Another withering thing going out. The Paladin will take care of it right away, I trust. Yes, he did. Look at that. That's beautiful. Nice. Oh, that's full caps. Never mind. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to say anything in full caps like an idiot. Oh, I need to taunt. What the heck was that? That was a lot of damage from the Paladin. That's what that was. Choking Rot coming through, which means I need to get the hell out of there. The K-Strike coming through. We're going to use extra healing from Vampiric Embrace to get rid of that heal absorb. Not exactly the best positioning for the totem because this thing is pathing right over it, but we got to it quickly enough. I'm gonna use my grippy hands because that's all my offensive cooldowns on top of grippy hands and blah blah blah. Okay, this time I positioned the totem much better. Basically, the boss will always drop the totem on the opposite side of the room, so if you can make sure that he drops it behind that big circle, that's the best thing you can do. And the big circle's gonna come out again. He's gonna do the choking rot breath thing. There it is. Need to get away from him. That visual, the frontal, is not particularly clear, so that's something that Blizz could improve, but you can see the cast, so you can can look for that. Rot Bursting Totem position much better this time around. Going to use Death's Advance to get over there. I have my Dancing Rune weapon available, so this is going to be very easy to kill. Could have maybe held on to my Tombstone to help kill the totem a little bit faster the next time around. The K-Strike coming through. I need a bit of thingy thing with the stuffy stuff runic power so I can heal myself. Very nice. Helping kill the totem. Anti-magic shell for this damage so I can avoid some of it. Beautiful. And boss should basically be dead here. I'm going to position the frontal like so. And before the next totem comes out, basically we will have the boss dead. I had to move out of my D&D unfortunately because I underestimated the size of the circle. Demon Hunter says, nice run. Everyone's kind of happy with this run. People want to do more, but I can't for the series. Can't. I'm going to tell them that'll entice them. See you around. That was a really, really, really good run. And Paladins, Retribution Paladins are still absolutely busted. I don't know if the microphone picked it up or not, but Danny in the background went, yay! All right, I want to just double check and make sure that I did see that correctly. Yes, Cleanse Toxins by the Paladin, take care of a bunch of that. Withering Contagion, 3 of them, which is a bunch, I guess. We have some avatars that removed Crushing Smash, okay, and we have Purify Spirit, which removed the Cade Senses. That was on me from the boss fight. Very nice. Yeah, I don't know why I had to check here. There's no other class in the group that can actually dispel diseases. Cool, that was a hell of a run. I really enjoyed that. I feel like I don't suck after that Azure Vault. I needed to pick me up, and this Brackenhide definitely helped. I think I'll do one more run. Nokhud Offensive +6. My body is not ready for this. I've not done a +6. I tried to do a +6 Nokhud Offensive yesterday, I think, on my warrior, and it was not working out. There was a tank that was kind of doing poorly, and I don't want to be that tank this time around. But if I drop it to a 3, I'd feel much more comfortable doing it. So I think I'm going to drop it to a 3 just to feel comfortable and then go in. And here we are in Nokhud Offensive +3. I did have it at 6, but I dropped it to 3 just to be a little bit more comfortable. Now I have some Bone Shield charges available, and I need to get over there as quickly as possible. Now, one tip about flying quickly, obviously you can use Whirling Surge if you have the mount that has it. If you have this Algarian Storm Raider, then you don't have access to that. So looking up and then looking back down is a really good way to get to get a lot of speed. So for some reason you get a lot of extra movement speed that lasts for a lot longer if you look up when you do your thingy thing. We're gonna kick that ascent thing, skyward ascent, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, like if you do that while looking up, you'll get a lot of extra speed, and then if you very quickly look back down, you won't really gain altitude, you'll just mostly go forward. So that's a good way to keep your movement speed going. I'm going to use my Icebound Fortitude here because I wasn't moving out of the swirly quickly enough. These feel grouped up enough, so I'm not too worried about it. We're going to go ahead and just pull these guys because we have 2 melee left over from the previous one, and use Grippy Hands again. Didn't use it in the previous one because I wasn't really thinking about it. And drop another D&D. It was probably a bad D&D to drop, but it's not a big deal. Gotta make sure I kick these. Big shouts. Okay, now we have just the big guy left. I don't want to just sit here and beat the shit out of one mob, so I'm going to run over to this other pack of mobs, use our Dancing Rune weapon, make sure that we have a nice chunk of whatchamacallits. We're going to grip this guy to interrupt his cast, and we're going to kick this guy so he doesn't get that big AoE off. Yeah, I need another D&D underneath me. Thanks to my WeakAuras, I can see. My D&D starts shining whenever I'm not in combat and not in one of my D&Ds. So I know that I need to use one immediately. It's not as annoying as some of my other reminders. For instance, if I run out of Bone Shield stacks, let me show you here. If I run out of Bone Shield stacks, I removed them just now. I have that reminder jumping left and right in front of me to make sure that I actually reset that up, because fighting without Bone Shield stacks, not the best idea. Grip these guys on top of each other so that everything's nice and stacked up. Rallying the clans coming through. Oh, this is going to be a really nasty pull. I need to focus up here just a second. Get that kick through. Our guy is dead. I'm going to be dead very soon if I don't do something about this. This was just a really bad pull. Need a Death Strike here. Need to taunt these guys at least. What I really need is Grippy Hands. We're going to use our Battle Res here. I don't know if this is salvageable. The Priest is also thinking the same thing. I'm going to grip one of these guys in at least. I need a Death Strike. Oh my goodness. I need somebody to kick this. Somebody needs to kick. I can't be the only one kicking, am I? No, the Hunter's also kicking. Death Grip this in. That was my bad. That was my bad. I should have handled that better. I don't have a way to stop this, do I? I need a grip. Okay, I managed to grip it. Need that kicked. Maybe. That was completely my bad. The Druid said, what a pull, and they're Right, that was a really stupid pull. And I didn't handle it well because I was thinking like, what am I even gonna say here about what the mistake was? Like, what am I gonna commentate instead of focusing on just doing the pull? Okay, well, we have Dancing Rune Weapon available, so I'm just gonna go straight ahead and use that. We have this guy coming through. We need people to kill that. I'm pinging him so that people notice him. I'm going to Gains of Ice him again. Need to get out of that. Okay, because it really hurts, especially on Tyrannical. Okay, we killed him. He was going for that one. Needs someone to actually use that. Shards of Earth coming through. I'm just going to step over here and use it because I made it here first. Very cool. Okay, the next one that's going to come through is that one in the back. So we're just going to look over here. We're going to slow that guy. I'm going to keep hitting the boss because my DPS is minimal. Really need guys to switch over to him. Very good. There's a tar trap underneath the boss as well. I'm going to move the boss closer to this. Tectonic Stomp coming through, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna use Groupie Hands now, and it looks like the Shaman, or not the Shaman. I keep saying Shaman, there's no Shaman in the run, Vlad. But it looks like the Hunter is gonna go over and activate the Lancer, or what, the Lancer? The Lance. Whatever, man. I'm so flustered after that pull. Whenever I make a stupid mistake like that, I always I just keep thinking about that mistake instead of focusing on what I'm actually trying to say and do. But oh well. We have the Lance ready. Oh, it looks like our Demon Hunter dashed in a little bit too soon. I don't have a CR for them, and it's kind of not even worth CRing them. I'm gonna slow the Saboteur. Okay, he's gonna get stunned by that binding shot. Very nice. He's gonna get stunned inside of my D&D. And we're going to grip him. No, you don't. There he is. And we're ready to use that one. I'm gonna try and stay within the range of our Shaman. I'm just gonna start calling him the Shaman now. Of our Hunter, so that he can keep DPSing the boss from whatever range he wants. We just stay on the boss now. We can ignore the Saboteur. Saboteur will not reach it. Okay, I'm gonna let them res our friend here. They say that their add-ons are not working, so they're sorry for dying. It's perfectly fine. It happens. Yeah, they're at 0 score, so they probably haven't updated their add-ons. They just logged back in and started doing dungeons. I can respect that, though. I can respect it. I'm gonna stand over here and just wait for the rest of my team. They were waiting for the res, and I want to start pulling without them. I'm gonna start pulling now. There's some people here. The Stormbolt, use Dancing Rune Weapon. I'm just gonna grip these little gusts. They don't do much, and this group's the easiest of all the groups that we do here, so I may as well pull the gusts here. If I was a Blood Elf here, I'd be using my Arcane Torrent because I can remove the shield because it's just a magic buff. And the little gusts, they actually have 0 HP. So once you remove that shield, they're dead. They just die. So yeah, as a Blood Elf, you can insta-give that entire group by just using your Arcane Torrent. Or as a priest, you can do Mass Dispel. We do have a priest, but maybe the priest is saving the Mass Dispel for a Tempest or anything like that in case we don't manage to interrupt the Tempest. I did see that pack that patrols around, but I kind of want to go to this pack first. I'm going to use Grippy Hands here. Let me see. There's the Storm Speaker. Now, the Storm Speaker is the highest priority mob here because of Tempest. There you go. I just interrupted it. The Tempest, what it does basically is it'll put a big debuff on your group, and it'll keep stacking that debuff as long as it channels the Tempest. It has a cast, and then it starts channeling. You should kick the cast rather than the channel, so kick it basically as quickly as possible, and that way you can prevent any of that damage going through, because as soon as it starts channeling, it's going to put one stack of the dot on you already, and then you need your priest to mass dispel you or something. All right, we have another Storm Speaker here, so we're going to try and focus them. I need a Death Strike here, get my health up. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna use Vampiric Embrace just to make sure I'm nice and beefy. Okie dokie. Tempest coming through, we interrupt that. That's what I'm focusing on here. I don't care about the other casts. Everything else can kind of be survived. Stormbolt is also a good thing to kick. Like, it would be good if somebody kicked it. But again, Storm Speaker does AoE. Stormbolt is just a single target. Of course, on fortified, especially high fortified keys, you want to kick that Stormbolt as well because it hurts. It hits like a truck. Alrighty, ready for the next group. We have Dancing Rune Weapon. I'm again looking for the Storm Speaker. There he is. We're going to put him in focus even. There we go. Beautiful. Drop another D&D. We have Tombstone available. Use up all my usual DPS things. We still look at the Storm Speaker. I can drop another D&D again. Rinse, repeat. Kick the Tempest, and now the Storm Speaker should die before he casts another Tempest. I need to get a WeakAuras that's going to show me the cooldowns of the abilities next to the nameplates. I usually have that set up, but I haven't done that yet for this season. Really need to get that done. I know what they cast, but having that cooldown indicator helps as well. All right, I'm going to pull these guys, and I'm going to drag them around a little bit, because what I really want to do is I want to grip these guys, and I want to pull these guys with them. Now, ideally, you would wait for a spot where you have the the patrol working with you on this, but sometimes that just doesn't work out. Chain lightning coming through. People need to step away from the priest. That's fine. We're going to interrupt this one. Tombstone's back up because it's been a minute. Very nice. The Demon Hunter just interrupted something. Thunderclap coming through, so we need to step away. Demon Hunter's kind of slacking. If you need an add-on to tell you that, man, you need help. But oh well. We're ready for the boss, basically. Healer is at full HP. I'm going to step as close as I possibly can to the boss. Why? Because if you pull him from further away, he's going to start casting an ability at you rather than just auto-attacking you. And that ability hits like a truck. You do not want to mess around with this boss. You want to stay in melee range as much as possible. Unless you're a warrior, in which case you will intentionally step further away from the boss. That way you can actually prompt it to cast that and you can spell reflect it. But I'm not a warrior, so I'm not going to be fucking around doing that. My job here is to make sure that I'm as healthy as humanly possible. I want the priest to be picking up these orbs, not me, so I'm just going to collect them at the last possible second. Like so. I don't want those to reach the boss. Okay, that was a little bit too close for comfort. Again, my job here is to be as healthy as possible so that the priest does not have to heal me at all. This is not a hard fight for me at all. I just kind of have to stand there and make sure orbs don't reach the boss. Everything else is secondary. Ideally, again, we let the priest gather the orbs because you want the priest, or your healer rather, you want your healer to be the one receiving this buff, because yeah, it does a little bit of damage to you, but what it also does is it increases your healing and damage done. So what you want to do is make sure that those are absorbed by the healer so that he can do more healing for when the electrical storm comes out. When the electrical storm comes, you basically, if you have defensives, you use them. That's like your job is to survive it. This boss is extremely healing heavy. Just gonna collect as many of these as possible, and then the rest we can blow up with that circle. As you might have noticed, the circle basically explodes the orbs. That's one way to stop the the orbs from reaching the boss. Okay, electrical storm coming through again. We're gonna try and make sure that the healer doesn't have to spend a single spell on us, which is easy for us to do as a tank, right? We gotta make sure we collect this. The healer, or rather the shaman, or not the shaman, but the hunter is slacking a bit on it. He was focusing on DPS, or maybe looking at his health bar or anything like that. Make sure that he doesn't go down. I did see him use his exhilarate there during that electrical storm. Okay, very good. Nothing is reaching the boss. This was very good. The first electrical storm was a little bit iffy because the priest was kind of not focusing, I guess. I don't know what exactly happened, but it worked out. Now you can imagine the kind of damage the group would be having to deal with on a +6. This is a +3 and it hits like a truck. So something to keep in mind. Again, I'm doing a little technique where you look up and then you look back down. Sure, you go up in altitude a little bit, but you move so quickly that it doesn't matter. No, we're gonna wait for the priest to catch up because I don't trust myself to survive without the priest here. And here we go. Now there's gonna be some extra birds here possibly. What I mean by extra birds is, I need to reposition because of that swirly. What I mean by extra birds is there's a group of 3 birds that patrol basically in a circle. And if you're standing on the mounds when they come around, you can see those 3 birds. When you're standing on the mounds, as they show up, they will body pull onto you. So you got to be careful about that. Gonna kick this tombstone. We're gonna... Okay, these ones didn't body pull because we weren't on top of the mound. Very good. Okay, somebody stunned that or something. I think the Demon Hunter used Metamorphosis. Yes, he did. That stunned them. I recognized the icon from the CC. Very good. Okay, we go on to the next mound. I'm gonna focus on doing the mounds first, and then I'll do any extra sort of extra percent that we might need. I'm just going to grip this Ahuna over, Ahuna Matata. Okay, there are the extra birds. I'm going to use a magic shell, def blood boil, make sure that we get all that aggro. We're going to use grippy hands here because we have extra pull, so I want to use some of my cooldowns here. Very low in the health department on my end. Not ideal. We're going to kick that to make it move. Grippy hands is moving all the mobs with us. We're going to drop another D&D, make sure that we're getting that extra damage from Shattering Bone. Really helps clear groups quicker. That is most of your damage. And somebody can kick that. Come on. Okay, well, it died, so it didn't need to be kicked. Very good. We handled the extra birds well enough. I had some extra gas in the tank in the form of some cooldowns, so that helped. Beam coming down from the, that's a volley. Okay, we did interrupt it. Waiting for the swirly. I don't know why I started moving. Shatter Soul is coming through, so somebody's gonna have to lose their soul. Somebody's soul landed over there. So as a DPS, what you will notice here is sometimes your screen goes like foggy or whatever. Look for basically a clone of you, like a ghost clone of you, and run into that, and you'll pick up your soul and you'll do full damage again. What that effect means basically is you're doing 30% less damage. You don't want to be doing 30% less damage as DPS, obviously. This is the last group that we need to clear before the boss can basically activate. We're going to kick this to make it all move. We're going to grip that to interrupt it and also move it out so the DPS can just keep DPSing without having to worry about that big swirly. This death bolt is going to come through. It's immune to death grip, so that's unfortunate, but I think that was the named mob. Yes, soul harvester, whatever. And drop another D&D here. Build up my bone shield charges because I'm slacking on it. That swirly is going through, so I need to move. There we go. Chant of the Dead, done and done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fly close to the boss, and then I'm going to go and do other groups. Flew close to the boss. We're going to use Vampiric Embrace while I gather these, and we're going to grip these guys. There we go. Now that's 2 groups, but there's no named mobs in here. I used my thingy thing with the stuffy stuff. We're gonna pull that. Okay, there we go. Very nice. Very nice. Big old pull. That'll get us some more percent. We need more percent before we head to the last boss because we don't want to really fight any trash over there. We need... Ooh, I went really low there. A lot of death bolts. We're going to use anti-magic shell because these death bolts kind of hurt. Okay, I need to blood boil on these piggies so that they don't do damage to us. I think I also stood into some swirlies. That doesn't help either, does it? And we're at 83%. We still need a lot more percent before we can go. I think I'll pull this group, and there's 2 over there. How much percent does this give me? 5%. That'll give me the 89. I need to get to around... They give 3.08%, the 2 guys they have to kill before the last boss. So I think what I'm going to do is 3.8, that's 6. I need 94% before I come to the last boss. Okay, we have another death grip available. Let me just grip this guy over. Beautiful. Death bolt got stunned. I don't have to interrupt it, but I did use my interrupt. Okay, there's the Chant of the Dead, so I kind of want to move these guys out of here. I don't have a grip available, so we're just going to wait for that chant to end, and then we'll go back into our D&D, which is about to run out, so I'll replace it with another one. Beautiful. Gonna kick that, and we are now at 90.58%. We need one more pull. I don't know which pull will give me enough percent, so I'll make sure I do a big one. Let's do that one over there. Okay, there's a Death Speaker. We're going to blood boil to get their attention. Then we're going to do this Vampiric Embrace, and that should be all the percent we need. Yes, that's big time overkill on the percent actually, but oh well. We need a Death Strike. Make sure that we survive well enough. More Death Strikes, taking a lot of damage here. I'm going to use Dancing Rune Weapon because it comes up very, very quickly. Very often. Drop another D&D. This is going to put out some mobs. We're going to blood boil them to make sure that we have aggro, and that should be it for this pull. And we're ready to go on to the boss. Now this boss is a bit tricky. What you can do is you can stack for the whatchamacallits. Yeah, I overdid the percent. I really didn't need to pull that big, but oh well. You can stack for when there's the thing. What does it do? Basically the tornadoes when they come out. Okay, we need to move in that direction, fight full roar. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep the bosses stacked because the further away from each other they are and the longer they are away from each other, the more damage they do. So we really got to make sure that we don't let them stay too far apart for too long. I'm going to stand on top of the Demon Hunter here. That'll make all the tornadoes spawn from the same point and they won't interfere with each other. Spirit Leap coming through. We're going to start moving towards the location where the Spirit Leap is. That way we can stay nice and healthy. Brutalize coming through. As you can see, it hits like a truck, so you got to make sure you are ready for that hit. Spirit Leap coming through again. I don't have a movement speed increase, so I might be stuck in that. Okay, our friend the Demon Hunter got messed up by it. Repel coming through. We need someone to kick that. Beautiful. Someone did kick it. Our Demon Hunter friend is in a bit of trouble. Hopefully they can survive. Okay, nice. They did. I can't really move too close. Spirit Leap coming through yet again. So you can immune that fear with Lichborn. Ideally, you wouldn't have to use it, so you can use the Lichborn more defensively or something, but it's not a huge deal. You don't really use Lichborn all that defensively all that often. At least I don't. Maybe that's a mistake. I'm looking for my Demon Hunter friend. I want to stand right on top of him. Okay, he didn't get the memo. He moved away from me, which kind of was problematic, but not a huge deal. Drop a D&D right here. That'll keep both of them in there. I have a CR available. We're going to use it on our friend. This boss is pretty rough. Frightful Roar coming through yet again. We have Vampiric Embrace available for the next repels coming through. We're going to kick it, and we're going to use Vampiric Embrace right here to make sure I'm nice and safe. There is a Brutalize coming through in 10 seconds, so I kind of wasted my thingy thing, but it's not a big deal. Spirit Leap coming through. I need to get out of the circle, then I'll worry about the Spirit Leap. Spirit Leap's over here. Repositioning. I'm going to use Grippy Hands right here, and I'm hoping Well, actually, I'm pretty sure I will have that available for the intermission on the last boss, because I really want to make sure that I can group up all the adds. There we go. We killed them before that Gale arrow came through. Beautiful. That was really well executed. The Demon Hunter kind of moved away from me for no real reason. Let's blame it on the lack of add-ons, shall we? He wasn't really thinking. Maybe he's new to this dungeon. He has 3.2k rating from last season, so that's pretty impressive. So he's not like a bad player. He's asking for someone to link damage meters, because even his details is broken, apparently. Okay. All right, we're going to put focus on Batak here. Batak actually means chicken drum, like a drumstick in my language, so it's funny. Batak. The reason I put him on focus is so I can always make sure that I use my focus interrupt macro, and that way I can interrupt his blood-curdling scream, which is an AoE fear. There it is. I guess if I really want to maximize the DPS we do, I should move Batak over to the other guy, whose name I don't even know because he doesn't cast anything I care about, right? So much for that. The reason I want to move Batak over there is because Batak stays melee the entire time, while this guy does kind of charges and whatnot, so better off moving Batak to Balara. There it is, Balara, that's his name, or her name, I don't know. Okay. Balara is dead. Now we do Batak, and we are ready to go into the next, or into the last boss. We have everything. We even have Bloodlust. Bloodlust, I think, is better off in P2, so we'll see when we use it. That's up to the Hunter. I haven't even looked if the Hunter's been using Bloodlust or not. Rending Strike coming through. Okay, that's the big tank buster. It even leaves a bleed on you. This guy's pretty heavy on the tank damage. Okay, nothing I can't handle so far. Spear's going over there. That means that he's going to charge in that direction. Hunter recognizes that, and I guess I should probably move him further away. Ooh, I really need to watch out when he does that rending strike. I should probably move him further away because... Ooh, what the heck? I have a CR available, so when the priest does go down fully, I'm going to CR them. Okay, he's going into the middle, which means I need to use Grippy Hands soon. We're going to CR. Okay, we're going to... Grippy Hands, CR has gone through. Grippy Hands is doing magic. Love to see it. Grouping them up like that is beautiful. Gonna make sure I interrupt here. Sigil of Misery going through. Blinding Sleet going through. There we go. Okay, that was a bit hectic because of the fact that the priest went down, so I was stuck trying to build runic power so that I could actually res, but turns out I didn't need to. I'm gonna drop a D&D here. The next big hit that he does on me, which is soon. Okay, we need to all move out. Okay, we all moved out. Beautiful. Meet him halfway. Conductive Strike. I did use my thingy thing with the stuffy stuff, Vampiric Embrace, to survive some of that. Okay, we gotta move out of that. This is very heal heavy. Some breathing room for the healer here. Conductive Strike going through, which means I need to heal more. Whew. Okay, this is a little bit intense, but this is the first time I'm actually seeing this deep into the fight, right? I've only done this on normal and stuff, so like I just don't know how exactly it goes and how beefy he is, but he's not beefy enough to survive. He's not as beefy as that Orc Tauren guy. Ooh, I got a necklace. That's kind of nice. $4.99 Haste Mastery, big on the mastery. That's actually a really good necklace for me. Very nice. That's I think that's my first piece of gear for M+. I like that. Thank you for the run. Check for meters. I need to report the meters to damage done overall. Damage done, and we're going to report that to party. Can't do more. Pug only series for YouTube. Check definitely not live. All right, cool. Gonna Hearthstone out. Leave party. We sent the meters to the Demon Hunter. We very subtly and smoothly self-promoted our YouTube channel, and now we're ready for a nice, well-deserved 3 hours of editing. So we're gonna go edit this episode out, make sure it's nice and ready for you. So my gearing has been pretty slow because, well, I really only play when I record, and I only record like 3 days a week, and I only do a couple of dungeons in those few days a week. So what I'm thinking about is maybe doing like a highlight reel of the dungeons I do outside of recording, rather than showing you every single dungeon, because I kind of want to gear this character relatively quickly. I don't feel like recording, or rather doing a series for half of the season, because it's going to take me a long ass time to, you know, gear out, because I like to be comfortable with the gear I have before going into higher keys. I'm going to be pushing like 12s and 13s, which sounds funny to me now that I say it, but because those are 22s and 23s of season 3, right? But anyway, I'm going to be pushing 12s and 13s, and I don't really want to do that with like 490 item level or whatever, so I got to make sure I gear up a bit, but I can only gear up so quickly with my recording schedule and editing schedule. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do some +2s or whatever. I'm not going to do the key level that I last cleared. I'm going to do lower than that so that you can see any sort of pushes that I do on the other keys. So don't be shocked if in the next episode you see that I have pretty much everything cleared on Tyrannical. That might happen, it might not. I might just be running these dungeons. I don't even know what I need to be doing for gear. I'm also probably going to do the raid on normal, so that's something that I might have done by the next episode. I'm just trying to gear this character up. I don't really want to do videos about the raid because historically those don't really do well on my channel. Even though there's people asking for it, a lot of people just don't give a shit about the raid, so I'm probably not going to do a video about the raid like I just said. So yeah, in the next episode I'm probably going to be a bit more geared up, but that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. Let me know what you liked about it in a comment down below. If you had fun, make sure you subscribe because there's more episodes coming. And if you're feeling particularly generous, you can become a channel member. Channel members have guaranteed replies to their comments, and they get nice little shoutouts like RIO got today. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.